until we discuss the difference. And we're not going to be able to discuss the difference if you're going to call me names every time I express an idea that you don't agree with. Did we cover the basics here, I hope? Yeah.
Here we go. Let's go. So let's go into it now.
Here's the first system of divination that I teach. It's called one goat head. When you make an offering of a goat, when you prepare a goat for feeding the awos who are praying for you, the word abo does not mean sacrifice. It never meant that. It doesn't mean that. It will never mean that. Abo means offering in the context of alchemical transformation of the elevation of consciousness. By killing a goat in a ritual, a sacrifice, you're denigrating the teachings of the prophet of Romeo and not understanding what he tried to say at all. So we do make prayers when we make offerings, and one of the ways we determine if the prayers are heard in Orun or heard by our ancestors is we toss the goat head up in the air. If it lands neck down, the prayers are heard. If it lands neck up, we need to say some more prayers. That's one of the most basic systems of divination used in Ifa. You'll see awos during rituals grab the goat head by the ears and throw it up in the air. And the first time I saw that, I thought, what the heck is going on? So now we know. All right. So we can do the same thing, yes, no, with one cowrie shell. This is the stomach. This is the mouth. If the mouth is up, it's yes. If the stomach is up, it's no. The stomach is that part of the shell where you pick off the shell and you see a little spiral inside. This spiral, excuse me, let me point it. This spiral, there you go. That's the mouth of the cowrie shell. That's the stomach. Perfect. Great pictures. You see the stomach has a little line in it. That line represents the umbilical cord. The Yoruba word for umbilical cord is EB. EB does not mean Arishi hates you. EB means the client is in resistance to learning the lesson. Okay, so the system of one cowrie shell, we can also do the same thing with one obi abata, one kola shell. We'll see as we get into this that the obi abata has male and female little nodes in it. There you go. Perfect. Beautiful. And you can use one, you break them in half, you use one, you get a yes or a no. And then traditionally, if you get a yes in terms of questions about your prayers, you offer part of the kola nut to the spirit you're talking to, and you eat part of it yourself. That becomes the abo. All right. So okay, meji yams. All right, so when you offer yams, you can cut the yam in half, and this is the inner part of the yam. This is the there you go, perfect. You can cut those in half, and it makes a yes/no oracle as well. Meji yams. All right. So then we go to Obats and misprints are obi kola. So the obi kola has male pieces and let me see. Can you see this? Female pieces. It's a female pieces. The female pieces are round. Oh, there you go. There's a good picture. Okay. So here's the system. A male and a female is a yes. A male and a female up is yes. A male and any other one down is no. A male and a female open is yes. Same thing down here. Two parts, the male and female down is no, and two female is yes. So pretty simple, similar to four count.
What about heads or tails? Same, like if you take like two pennies and you have a head and you have a tail, the head would be the female, the tail would be the male, and then if you throw two,
not quite. No, it's a little more complicated than that. Look at it this way. These pictures aren't as good as they should have been. I'm going to do this again. We're going to have some spontaneous art here. Okay. Can you see this? This is a male piece of obi. This is a female piece. Each one of these pieces has two sides. Now, with just two things, I have four options. You understand? With a coin, with heads and tails, you only have two options for each coin. But yeah, head or tail, yes or no. You put two coins together, it's still head or tail, yes or no. All right. But with this, you can have black, white, 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 black, and the black side. I'm calling the black side is the outer shell. The white side is the inner shell. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, right.
All right, okay. So two cowrie shells. 2 mouths up is yes. A mouth and a stomach is yes. 2 stomachs is a no. That's 2 calories. Yeah. Okay. Very good. We're on a roll now. 4 calories. Marin calories. Yes. That's 4 mouths up. No for stomachs up. 2 stomachs up. 2 mouths up. That's a yes. 1 stomach up is a maybe yes. 1 mouth up is, excuse me. Yeah, 1 mouth up is a maybe no. You got that? There you go. Yes, exactly. Yes, and each of those has different names. We're expected to know those. Yes, each algorithm. There's different names for those, but that's a good. You've got, yes, very good, very good, very good. Perfect. All right. So it gets more complicated. You can use 2 OB. All these are yes, all those are no. Those are things that you need to sit down and study for the purposes of our review. Just know that using 2 pieces of OB abata is an option. Here's one that you don't see often, but I saw it a lot in Africa. Sometimes people throw, can you see that, with just 1 leg of the okwele. So it's the same as reading 4 calories. 2 lines, 1 line, 2 lines, and so on, depending on how it falls, all right? So this is essentially used for yes, no. So show that picture again. So just look at the right side. That would be a 1 leg okwele, and it's the same as throwing 4 obi abatas or 4 cowrie shells, all right? There's a system I haven't written out here. It's called 8 OB cola. That is used in lieu of 16 calories for priests of Shango in the city of Oyo. When they use 8 OB cola, it's a yes, no, coupled with a reference to the first 8 Odu, as those Odus are sequenced in Merindin Lagoon. Now we have 16 calories. The word Merindin Lagoon, commonly in the diaspora, it's called Dilogoon. Dilogoon means 20 in Yoruba. Merindin Lagoon means 20 minus 4. 4 is Merin, Din is minus, Lagoon is 20. So, yeah, okay. So, Ogon, when they do a Merindin Lagoon, uses 12 cowrie shells and uses 4 coins and 12 cowrie shells. They read all 16 as if it was 16 calories, but they use the 4 coins to get a secondary Odu, which delivers a message to the diviner about how to work effectively with their clients. All right. The last method is the Okwele. Not the last method. The next method is the Okwele. Okweles tend to have even and odd number of tassels. The even number tassels fall to the right, odd number to the left. If this flips in midair, you flip it back because the double tassel is always the right side. All right. All right. So now a big ba. This, I showed you the single chain for the single leg in certain areas of traditional Yoruba culture, specifically Abi of Kuta, probably others that I'm not aware of. They throw the single legs 4 at a time and you get 2 Odus. It's called a big ba. Some areas they do 3. I don't know what that's called. I haven't seen that done. But that would be an additional version of the double chain. Oh, 15 is the Ekin. We've all seen the Ekin slap. You grab a bunch of Ekin. If there's 2 left in your hand, you mark 1 mark on the tray. If there's 1 left in your hand, you mark 2 marks on the tray. And the last one is 3 sets of Abeji statues. Can you look that up? It's called Idan usually on the internet. The Abeji statues that are chained together at the head. And each of these statues is a twin with a male and a female. No, that's the wooden Abeji. Look up the Idan, I-D-A-N. It might come up under that. So these are bronze statues chained together at the head with spikes at the bottom, all right? The system of divination is used in Ogboni in trials where there's a capital offense. If someone is caught molesting a child, they'll be tried, they'll be arrested, tried, and executed all on the same day. If they're found guilty, the oracle...
You know, I've tried to find that. I cannot find that online.
That's all right. Trust me, there's brass statues. I'll look for it. I used to have some. I'll look in my computer. But these spikes are then, if it's 3 or more face up, the person is guilty. The spikes are placed in their nose and then shoved in their brain, and that's the system of execution. And while they're being executed, They're saying prayers that they reincarnated the better person. So the point of all that.
Oh, hold on, no, you can't just skip over that. Hold on. So they have a court system that, okay, if they did something really terrible in the
no, not something really terrible. If they either committed murder or child molestation, there's only 2 capital offenses in Ifa. If you rape a child or kill somebody, you're called before Ogboni, who then settles where you're given an opportunity to defend yourself. If you lose your case and the Ogboni elders decide you're guilty, then the punishment is determined by this system of divination. The divination tool is also the tool of execution. The people that use it as an execution tool in Ogboni are called Oro, and the men of Oro are trained to elevate your spirit as they're executing you so that you do not return to earth as a murderer or a child molester.
Wow. And they shove that in your eyes?
No, in your nose.
In your nose?
Yes.
Wow, man.
So yeah, I don't want to belittle. The only thing I want to say about that is there's a group called International Ogboni that's advertising on Facebook. That is not traditional Ogboni. That group does not use this method. That group has the right to exist, but they have no jurisdiction in traditional Yoruba culture. It's essentially a made-up fraternity that has no real claim to power, and people need to pay attention. One of the first things the British did when they came was they outlawed traditional, what's called Aboriginal, that's a bad word, but that's what's called Aboriginal Ogboni. Eventually they replaced it with Reformed Ogboni. Essentially, Reformed Ogboni is the British introducing Skull and Bones as a secret society to control the economy of the country under the guise of traditional religion. And it's really insidious, in my opinion. And so people are participating in those rituals without really realizing what they're involved with. And it would be fair to say not everything that is part of Reformed Ogboni is legal. Let's just leave it at that. So, it's important to know our history, know our faith, and to know our protocols. The same thing was true with Iami. Iami was banned, outlawed. People in the diaspora think it was outlawed because women are evil. No, that's a Catholic idea. Iami is essential for the practice of Ifa anywhere in the diaspora. It's the healing ashe of the mothers. How can that be evil? The answer is it can't. The notion that Iami are evil is just beyond silly. So the other point is, in the diaspora, they say Ifa priests don't go into possession, right? The reason they say that is because there's been a loss of the secret of how Awos go into possession. And the secret of putting an Awo into possession with the spirit of Elah is held by the women of Iami. If you do not have Iami doing their function during Tefa in the diaspora, the Yawo will not go into possession. It's that simple. And if you don't believe me, go to Africa on June 23rd and listen to the recitation of Odu, and they'll explain to you how the function of Iami facilitates the connection of an Ifa priest to the spirit of Elah. You can hear it anywhere in the country. It's fully explained. And just because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's not true. So we need to really be able to continue these conversations without so much judgment and hostility. We're in a situation now where the Kumi world, bless their heart, is going to Africa to teach Africans the correct way to do things. Personally, I find that inappropriate, but that's just my opinion. There's so much that we don't know. How are you going to fix something that you don't even understand in the first place? So there's a great deal of wisdom still remaining to be retrieved from Africa. And, I've done what I can, and I've taught my students now I'm very clear about what I know and what I don't know. And I've given people the instruction of going to Africa and discovering the things I don't know so that we can make a continuous effort to reclaim a lost wisdom that is beyond belief in terms of its depth, integrity, and effectiveness as a problem-solving tool.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Now this is kind of like getting it still has something to do with divination, but it also has to do with dreaming, right?
Right.
Now my mom died when I was 14. My father died when I was 6.
Oh, okay.
And then I had a baby. There's a thing they call the babies that die 2 months after. It's a word for it. Abiku, right? So I had a lot of death. My child's father died. I had, me being a child of Oya, a lot of death right around me. So here's the thing. In my dreams, I have seen my mother and I have felt as if that I'm in a different timeline where she's still existing. It's almost real. Like she So
No, stop. It's not almost real. It is real. She does exist on another timeline, and Ifa teaches you the tools on how to access that. That's the main function of Iami, is to access contact and interaction with the ancestral mothers. We do that through the use of astral travel. You've heard the term Iami Oshoranga, but nobody knows what the heck that means. That's not a spirit, that's a process. Iami Oshoranga, from the Elysian Ia, Ami, Osho, Ranga, literally means the ability to astral travel to the realm of the mothers to gain, to internalize female Ashe.
So
There's no H in Oshoranga. It's a line under the S, but that's close enough. And there's a double A in Iami.
Iyami, let me do it right. I want to like give them respect. Iyami, Oso Ranga. I can't do the Oshoranga. So here we go.
That's all right.
So Iyami Osoranga.
Oshoranga is how it's pronounced. And so the Iami Oshoranga is the group of mothers who come together for ritual purposes to travel in the astral realm. They meet in the Iroko tree in their astral bodies on the full moon, which is how they also have synchronized their menstrual cycles. So Iami Oshoranga is the element of Ifa spiritual practice that makes positive use of menstrual blood. The notion that menstrual blood is dirty is a Catholic idea. It's not consistent with anything that's taught anywhere in Nigeria by anybody who understands our faith. And that menstrual blood is used as a catalyst for astral travel because it's rich in melatonin and serotonin. And if you rub menstrual blood on the third eye, it'll facilitate astral travel. That's called right brain, left brain integration. It's called starfire ritual. That ritual is done both throughout Africa and throughout Eastern Europe. So it's a common link between those traditions, which I spoke about earlier. And that process of starfire has been denigrated by the Catholic Church through the invention of the ridiculous notions about vampires and drinking blood. That's all made up denigration of ancient Ifa and European rituals. So menstrual blood is also a key element in the Ifa initiation. But instead of understanding that, people have a fit if a woman is present on her cycle. Nonsense. That's a sacred place. It's a sacred function. That blood is used, and it's a key component in making sure an Awo is able to go into altered states of consciousness.
Wow. And so here's a question too. So let me go into this, right? So I died. I'm gonna say this. All right, I was in a car accident, flipped over. Okay. I can show you the pictures. I don't think you want to see them, but it was horrible. So in 2013, I flipped my car over and I bled to death. Okay. It's heavy, right? Now, I believe in my heart of hearts that in 2013, I passed away, but then I also, because I saw like the whole thing, like that there was a calm that came over me. I saw my kids, I saw my life flash and whatever. And then all of a sudden I was pulled out of that car. I fell asleep, pulled out the car. And ever since then, like the spiritual plane, the earth that I'm on is slightly different than the earth that I was on prior to that situation, right?
Yeah, listen, that could be as a result of your after-death experience, but it's also likely related to some experiments that were done at CERN, which is a particle accelerator on the border between Switzerland and France, which caused a shift in timeline leading to what people call the Mandela effect. That we could spend another.
But hold on, no. But did that happen in 2013?
I believe so.
One in 2013?
I believe that was the date. Actually, it might have been a little earlier, but in any case,
in October.
Oh, I don't remember that. I have to look it up. But my point is, it could be as a result of your astral travel. It also could be as a result of a global shift in timeline. I would not be prepared to make a judgment either way, other than to say that both are real possibilities.
Because I was trying to understand whether this is just even Ifa. Like, okay, you have this thing about timelines. You have a thing about, like, because you know how Ifa talks about, like, reincarnation. But what if reincarnation is not just a matter of you actually dying completely, but just like you might die on one timeline? And I know this sounds crazy, but then continue on.
No, it's not crazy. That's the point. There is no such thing as death in Ifa metaphysics. The Odu Oyeku means Oyeyeiku, meaning the spirit of the mother of death, which means understanding death. So when Ifa speaks of your life and your destiny, it's not speaking of the year 2026 in planet Earth. Is talking about all of your reincarnations in all of your lifetimes in all the planets that you've lived on, and the continuation of that consciousness through the transition of a particular lifetime. And that in fact that Ifa funerals, which is something nobody ever talks about. I'm not even sure people have studied it. But at IFA funerals, we invite extraterrestrials to come to facilitate the transition into the next dimension and to allow the person to be reborn and give their last will and testimony. So hear what I just said. We were taught in written form, in written books, that only one person in the history of life on Earth was resurrected after their death. I'm telling you that every single Ifa priest who dies in Africa is resurrected after their death, and the resurrection process is part of the funeral process, and that funeral process is facilitated through connection with extraterrestrial beings called Ogbo. And I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. I'm telling you, I've had training in it. I've seen aspects of it, and I believe it to be true. Oh, I can't hear you.
All right. So, is there different levels of reincarnation?
Yeah. Listen, you can.
But hold on. Let me break it down. Right. What I've experienced. Right. I believe what I'm seeing is that there's like one level of reincarnation. If you die a premature death based on you making the wrong decision, you will die on a timeline, but then continue on a different one. Same body, same life, but like the past of that thing is slightly different. You get like kind of like pushed to a different timeline. You continue to live on. In one timeline you passed on, another one you live on, right? And so you're living on. It's slightly different than what was going on in the other timeline. Things are a little bit different, whatever. But if you live out, go all the way through, and no problems, then you have that actual true reincarnation back to childbirth. Whatever. Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, I'm saying
nothing that I've actually read. This is just something
no.
Listen, I understand it.
Yes, what you say is theoretically possible. There's 3 books that cover that topic called the Montauk Project. Ifa, at the level of training I have not heard elders speak about that possibility clearly. I believe it is possible, and I believe as we improve our understanding of Odu Ifa, it will become more clear. But the real key to understanding what you're saying is to understand that creation is co-creation. And it's co-creation by virtue of the fact that that's the way consciousness works. So that we co-create our...
Uh-oh. I hope his computer didn't die. Did it die? Oh, no. Uh-oh. Wow. Man, we were
studied metaphysics most of my life. I think what you're talking about is real. I think there's not a lot of documentation on it.
All right, here we go.
There we go. Listen, I got shut down. I think people are annoyed with our conversation.
It don't matter.
That's a good sign.
But that's a good sign. I mean that we really hitting on something. Come on now.
Yes, here's what I want to say to you about that as a 79-year-old man who's studied metaphysics most of my life. I think what you're talking about is real. I think there's not a lot of documentation on it. It's not clear what Ifa says about it, but it is more clear what Egyptian spirituality talks about with it. And I think there's definitely a link between Ifa metaphysics and Egyptian metaphysics. And again, that's a long discussion. I think I know that the pyramids at Giza are a machine. They're not a tomb. That's nonsense. The structures under the pyramid are real. Have you seen those pictures of the 8 giant
those spirals that go down?
Yeah, those are real. Yeah, but those are only the tip of the iceberg. Why am I not being shown here? What's happening? Oh, I see.
Okay.
I got it. There I go. Okay. The pyramids in Egypt at the 3 great pyramids above the underground city. Those pyramids are connected to a series of stone circles. Look up Michael Tillinger Adams' calendar. You'll see pictures of the stone circles that are connected to the pyramids in Egypt. The pyramids in Egypt are connected to stone circles that run all the way from northern Egypt to South Africa. And those stone circles are pictures, or graphic images of resonant sound patterns. Each of those stone circles is about 50 feet across, connected by what you call a highway. And so far, Michael Tillinger has documented over 10 million of those circles. So the pyramid complex, there it is. See that right there? Right there. There's 50 million of those in East Africa, all in a straight line directly under the pyramids. That is a huge machine that was involved in terraforming. The ancient Africans literally shaped the earth and made it livable. That's part of the wisdom and the legacy of ancient Egyptian metaphysics and ancient Ifa. Ifa has the key to how to terraform the planet. That information can be used to terraform the other planets in our solar system. That information is known by the few who control the many. I know that they know because I grew up with them. I know what they know. They know that I know, and they're not happy with me sharing about it. So the point is, as fantastic as that sounds, as hard to believe as that sounds, that whole system of terraforming is predicated on the ability of the initiate priest to blend their consciousness with the consciousness of the planet itself. The process of learning how to do that is called Iwa Poeli. People say it's good character. No, the word Iwa Poeli means I come to greet the earth. Iwa Opwe Ile. Iwa, the coming, Opwe, the greeting, the spirit of greeting, Ile, the earth. So we come to greet the earth to learn how to work with the earth, to form a environment that supports unconditional love. It's not complicated. So arguing that what I'm saying is not possible, okay, you can believe whatever you want. You can argue with me about it. I'm not inclined to argue much. But the other thing we can do is see if it's true. You understand? We can connect. Here's the point I'm making. And I think this might be a good place to call it a day. The point I'm making for today is, if you and I pray together, it's not twice as good, it's 3 times as good. If 10 people pray together, it's not 10 times as good, it's 100 times as effective. 16 people pray together, and I've seen this in Africa many times. When 16 people are praying together, they're all on the same page, they're all have the same intention, they're all coming from a place of unconditional love. They're not worried about being jealous about who's in charge, who knows more, and who does it correctly. And they're all on the same page, functioning in a state of prayer. Physical reality changes as they speak, which would confirm your idea that you live on a different earth. If you're engaged in effective prayer, the earth itself will change in front of your eyes as you speak and become a different place.
So that's what it is. Is it about like the fact that like my prayer, like probably even upon my own like demise, it caused the earth to change to form like within like, and is that really what the divination method does? Is that instead of you going down one way, based on the prayers and based on the ebo, like the not the sacrifice, but the offering you give, it actually changes your trajectory in almost like the not, I don't want to get all science fiction and sci-fi on people, but it's almost like, Doctor, what's that thing on, what is it? Marvel Comics, like how you had that thing, Doctor Strange, or was it Doctor?
Yes, well, it's not like that. It is that, and the ability to change our physical environment is predicated on our ability to work together from a place of unconditional love. Once we're able to do that, we're able to create any world we want. And the people who want to control the world and control the world's resources don't want you to figure that out. They don't want you to engage in that activity. All we have to do to put a stop to the foolishness in Washington now is to join together and create an alternative by agreement. And we outnumber the negative people that are trying to keep us subdued by huge numbers. I mean, it's like less than 1% of 1% of the population is controlling everything. And the only question is, why are we letting them do that? And we're letting them do that because we're buying into the propaganda of the narrative that teaches us that we're worthless, we can't do anything, we can't be effective, and we have to violently react to anybody who disagrees with us. None of that's true at all, not even a little. So we have to consider the value of the alternatives. And I would say the values of the alternative are worthy of consideration and clearly expressed in Odu Ifa. So next time I speak,
I have one person here. She came here earlier.
That's fine.
Trying to get everything together.
Any questions? That's fine. It's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Hello.
My question is that it is said that Odu Ifa is built on binary codes, and that the computers that exist today and probably in ancient times as well was built on binary codes. So my question is that is the earth itself, the animals, the human beings, everything built, is built on binary codes? Or,
Yeah, listen, you're on the right track. I'm going to explain that. It's going to take a little bit of a minute.
Okay.
But the entire structure of creation is rooted in what's called a Merkaba. You know what a Merkaba is?
Yes.
Odu is a two-dimensional symbolic representation of an energy pattern called a Merkaba. A Merkaba is two counter-rotating, three-sided pyramids within a torsion sphere. All right. So that structure is the fundamental structure of subatomic particles. Hence, the structure of every single thing in creation is based on the Merkaba. Now, the Merkaba, if you understand that personal consciousness is not, there it is not our consciousness. We see the world with the consciousness of the creator itself. And so that the consciousness of the creator comes into the physical world through the use of geometric patterns. The most fundamental geometric pattern through which the creator speaks to us is called a Merkaba. So the Odus that we use in the binary system is a shorthand. It's a two-dimensional way of drawing three-dimensional energy patterns, which become very complex once you go into third, fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions, almost impossible to draw. So we shorthand that, we make that simple, we put it into a two-dimensional format. So if you look at the Merkaba and you see that the three-sided pyramid has 4 points of contact with the circumference of the sphere, and each of those points of contact, 3 at the base, 1 at the top, 4 points of contact, can be either opened or closed. And if it's open, it allows for electromagnetic energy to come into the sphere and generate a particular resonance, and the resonance then generates geometric form. This is the meaning of the universal phrase, in the beginning was the word, not the word, the resonance created by a Merkaba, the Merkaba being the portal through which God's consciousness comes into the world. So the point being is that if you're doing Ifa and you're marking the binary system on the tray, that becomes a portal for the consciousness of God. And when you go into an altered state called Elah, you connect with that consciousness. And it's that connection that allows you to interpret the Odu and effectively do prayers that will cause elevation and transformation. So the point that you're making that's been overlooked, which is important, is the binary system used to program computers. I'm going to draw you a picture. Maybe it'll make sense. All right. You do computer programming? You know what that looks like?
I do. And that's why I was trying to say, when I talk about like that whole experience of like near death, it almost is like a computer. Like when you go to play Grand Theft Auto, right? You might pass on, but you get another life. And then
I'm going to show you something. So this is what computer binary system programming looks like. It's typically read, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, it's read from right to left.
Oh, wow.
In sequence like that, right? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what the computer people don't realize is even though this was designed to work like that, it still works like this. So this is a series of Odus that are maps of consciousness that have been coded into computers from day one of their invention. And that consciousness controls those machines in ways that we barely understand. And we better understand it quickly because they're fixing to be manipulated by people that have no sense of ethics at all.
Is that what AI is? Is that the ability to go?
AI is a feeble attempt by some really dumb people to explain what I just said and work that to their advantage and make sure you don't understand what this really means. Wow. That's what AI is. And so we in Ifa have the key to explaining that. We have the key to working that to our advantage. We have the key to salvation. We have the key to the elevation of consciousness. We have the key to not be sold into slavery for the umpteenth millionth time. We have the key to transcend the narrative created by Trump, Musk, and Gates and find our own purpose in life, find our own reason for existence, find our own creativity, and find our own joy in engaging with others in the act of unconditional love.
And you know what? And that's probably why like learning divination is important. Rather than going to AI to find your answers, you can actually use divination.
Listen, I read AI. You've seen AI has been explaining Ifa for the last year, okay? Mm. And the only way I got a taboo against using bad language. If I didn't have that taboo, I'd say
you want to cuss so bad, don't you?
AI is nonsense. If you believe any of their explanations of anything in Ifa, you're wasting your time and you're not going to get anywhere, and you're going to think you're smart and you're going to stay stuck, and it's all going to be, you're going to look back in your life and think, wow, I could have actually studied Ifa instead of dealing with this foolishness. So avoid that heartache and actually study Ifa. That's my point.
Do you have another question, Nyla?
Yeah, I do have another question. So would you say that the Odu Meiji, like the foundation of the earth, the seas, the land, is built on the Meijis? And would when it comes specific to like a flower or a person, does it then split off to compounding Odus?
Oh yeah, no, sort of. The Meiji Odus are the foundation of all consciousness throughout creation. Have you been through Ifa initiation?
Yes.
Okay, so the ritual is this is the ritual in metaphysical terms. The person who's initiating you is going to invoke the Meji Odus on your head, and then they're going to invoke Oshe Tura. Oshe Tura causes the Meji Odus to copulate, giving birth to all other 240 Odus in the corpus, and all 256 Odus then become the basis of different streams of consciousness. So as a human being, rather than having 6 senses, you have 256 senses. And Ifa teaches you the technology how to zoom in on one of those streams of consciousness to assist you with a particular problem you're having at any given moment in your life. And so the solution to that problem comes by shifting the resonance in your brain, and the oriki that accompany those Odu are different frequencies. So there's 256 different frequencies which are expressed through the poetry of each of those Odus. And the real transformation is not God help us all from goat blood. The transformation comes from the shift in frequency. So let me give you an example. If you are a Native American shaman and you want to make rain, you go up on a mountain, you draw a circle, and you remember what it felt like the last time you got rained on. That shifts your consciousness into a particular frequency, and that frequency resonates with those patterns as they exist in creation and make it rain. And so that's true for the solution to every problem. You don't become wealthy by begging for abundance. That's a waste of time. That's just an acknowledgement of poverty. You become wealthy by standing in the resonance of one who is successful in the world. And that resonance then attracts those who can support that effort and move your life along in a way that's productive. As long as you're not resonating with that vibration, your prayers are ineffective. Look at the holy Odu, Oshe Meji, is the Odu that gives power to our prayers. All right. So what does Oshe mean? It means the spirit of Ashe, the spirit of power. Connecting with the spirit of power, being possessed with the power that's inherently part of your Ori, standing in that prayer and visualizing that which you think would make the world a better place.
Wow, that's amazing. And listen, one real quick thing. What is the significance of Osayin?
Yeah, okay. Osayin. Okay, so when you do initiation, you'll see people will fly for herbs from Africa and from Puerto Rico, and they'll get all flustered if they don't. No, Ifa teaches the herbs you use for initiation, you gather within walking distance of the place where you do the initiation. Because herbs, like everything else in creation, have consciousness. So the consciousness that roots you to the earth allows you to connect with the earth, allows you to greet the earth, allows you to engage in Iwa Pele, which is greeting the earth, which allows you to become a part of the world around you, comes from acknowledging the consciousness of the plant life around you. And Ifa teaches that in the holy Odu, Okano no Turapan, if you ingest that Odu, you have the power to communicate with herbs, and the herbs will speak to you in the language you understand.
Makes a lot of sense. So they say that, even if you have a house, the herbs around your house will actually grow according to what you need in that house as a person. I've heard like stuff like, and you know what? When I walk outside my house, I have elephant thing. I have like fig, and I have high blood pressure. I also have persimmons growing outside, and all those things, they deal with blood pressure and this, that, the other. So it's interesting that even when you live the herbs will begin to grow according to what you need around you. So we are not just beings, but our presence on this earth actually causes things to change around us. Correct?
That's absolutely true. Well spoken. I'm gonna quote you. Nope.
Wow. So, and then I know you're trying to get up out of here.
No, I'm good. I just don't want to. Sometimes I ramble a little bit. I'm trying to stay.
No, we love the rambling, because listen, when we have an elder up here, a person that has spent time and learned the things, we're not over here rushing them off the channel. We want to get as much knowledge as we can from that elder, because we've had plenty of elders that we have to get the knowledge when we can, because right now
I'm always available. No rush. We'll take as long as it takes. I have a series of 8 lectures I want to do, but after that we can open it up to other things. The point is, next week I want to speak about people will say that Ifa priests don't go into possession. Okay, so why do I say that that's mistaken? I say that's mistaken because the Holy Odu, Ogunda Osa, says, this is what it says. I'm translating now from Yoruba to English. Ogunda Osa said, this is the oriki you use during initiation to put a Yawo into possession with the spirit of Ela after you have invoked the Meji Odus and invoked Osharitura to cause them to copulate in your head, opening all 256 portals in your brain. Once you've done that, you connect that those open portals to the spirit of Allah, and Allah becomes your connection to all of creation. So if the Odu is saying that, then why would you argue that there's no such thing as Ifa priests going into possession? The Odus give you the technology for going into possession. Do you think they're doing that just to make stuff up? They're doing that just to hear themselves talk? They're doing that to deceive people? No, they're doing that because it's an important tool in the toolkit of healing ourselves, connecting to others, and being a healthy part of the planet itself. And so that Oriki for possession by Allah, I'm going to do not all of it, most of it. Essentially, the Oriki is the true name of the spirit of Allah, the spirit of Arumia. And it takes 2 hours to recite the name. So there's a whole bunch of resonance included in the word Allah that we never hear, we never use, we never invoke, we never access, we never try to understand. And I would like to help initiate the process of looking at that as a profoundly important tool in our ritual process.
So what is the difference between Allah and Allah?
Allah, okay, that's a good linguistic question. The letter E is like a pronoun, all right? So E means the. So the word Allah is an elision of A. The letter E is pronounced A in Yoruba. And the word Allah. Allah is light. So Allah means the light, capital T, the light. Okay, but it's not the light of a light wave. It's the light of what the ancient Egyptians in their infinite wisdom called a longitudinal light beam. A longitudinal light beam is a light beam that functions at 432 hertz and which has no wave. It's a straight line. The light beam of Allah, unlike a light wave, which is a curly-Q thingy, the light of Allah gets stronger as it moves away from source. And as it moves away from source, it continues in the universe until it hits the edge of the universe and returns to its source. So it's a biofeedback system. So Allah is the key component for unleashing the potential for free energy that we find in the Odu Ije. So Allah is both a metaphysical principle, an important ethical concept, but it is also the fundamental idea with regard to what I call Ifa science and the ability to use alchemy to transform one element into another and make a better world. And the thing that's amazing is Spirit's going to give us this information whether we want it or not. Mediums of Allah can really explain all that in depth, but right now the best medium for Allah I've encountered who is explaining all the paleo science of Odu Ifa is an actor named Terrence Howard. I'm not even sure he knows what Ifa is, but everything I've heard him say about science matches the liturgical Yoruba that describes Ifa in Odu Ifa. The other person who really had a handle on the Ifa understanding of Allah is Nikola Tesla. He used the concepts we find in Odu Ifa to generate free energy. Absolutely.
Wow. And bottom line is free energy is a real thing. That we don't really need this grid that we.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a free thing. You want to know if free energy is a real thing? You want to know? You want to test that for yourself?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, do this. Next time you're around somebody, have them rub their hands like this. And then have them put their hands like this so that the palms face each other. Can you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And then you put your hand between those two hands and tell me if you feel something. If you feel something, that means this has generated energy. We call that energy Ashe. That Ashe comes from Allah. Allah connects to humans in a spiritual form that we call Elah.
And that's what they do in Reiki.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing.
And also in that other thing that they do with where it got outlawed, I forget what it's called. Like in China, it was a big thing. They outlawed it. The
Qigong. Yeah, Qigong. Yeah.
Qigong. So
my grandfather analyzed the resonant frequencies of what we call Odu and used it to effectively heal cancer and other terminal illnesses. The AMA took away his medical license and made him stop. Stanford studied his technology twice. Both times they confirmed that it was effective. My grandfather had Nikola Tesla make the machines that generated the resonance that produced those results. And all that technology was based on scientific exploration of frequency and healing that was done in ancient Egypt.
Wow. And see, is it based on like sound and tonation of actual notes? Because they have this thing now called PEMF.
Yeah, it is actual notes. Listen, you know what solfege is? You know what that means, solfege?
Yeah, I'm a musician.
Okay, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti.
Yeah.
Okay, that was invented by the Egyptians. But it's also those sounds. There's a It's whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. If you graph that in a chart, it makes the Fibonacci curve, or the golden mean of a seashell pattern, which is sacred to Obata law. But the key interval in that creation of the spiral is the relationship between Do and Fa, right? But in the original Egyptian system of solfege, Do was called E. So we go to the fundamental resonant harmony of creation, and you pronounce it in ancient Coptic Egyptian by the words E Fa. Hello, where do you think the word came from? It's an expression.
Wow.
Yes, it's a symbol of the resonant frequencies that creates everything.
Wow. E Fa, like boom. And so that is why when we talk about the drum, we talk about all these different things that are a part of it. This is really based in about sound.
Yes, and here's the real miracle. All right, the Eureki that were used to put you in possession during your initiation was passed to you from your elders, and it was passed to them by their elders. The words in those Eurekis create an automatic link with the correct frequency. It's called Ofuashe. You're a musician. If I say I want you to sing every pitch between middle C and C above middle C and break it up into 256 different frequencies, you wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think there's any human alive to be able to do it. But you are able to do it when you say the Ofuashe, or the words of power in the Eureki, because your brain locks in automatically to those frequencies, which is how we're how we're able to access Ashe and pass it from one generation to another. That's why the traditions are so important, and that's why it's really shameful that instead of spending time with our elders to gain access to that wisdom, we're just making stuff up.
So you have a person, real quick. Divination is haram in Islam. Why do you think that is?
Well, divination, haram. I said in Islam. Okay, so divination, as it's practiced in Ifa, is based on divination as it was practiced in ancient Egypt, and the text, instead of being Odu Ifa, was the emerald tablets. All right. So in Egypt, they referred to divination as sand cutting. When the Muslims came into Egypt, they took over that system and they replaced the text of the Book of the Dead with the Quran, which is normal, I think, and also in the Bible. The Ifa divination is called casting of lots. In the Bible, in the ancient times, in Jewish culture, you had a handful of sticks. You grab some. If you had one stick, you marked 2 marks in the sand. If you grabbed 2 sticks, you marked 1 mark in the sand. Sand cutting, absolutely exactly the same thing as Odu Ifa, except the verses for sand cutting in Hebrew tradition are based on the Torah. And the Torah is a coded reference to the frequencies used in alchemy, and the stories are just a way of holding those secret doctrines.
Right, and that's where I was like kind of getting into like that. The Torah was at one point a thing used for priests to do, but it's okay. But all right, so I'm not going to hold you too much longer. It's almost
all right. I'm good for another few minutes. Keep going.
Okay, because I remember I was saying that I believe that the Torah, was equivalent to Ifa at one point, an oral tradition that the Levitical priests used, and that it was a certain thing that wasn't even done to even get those laws out, that, when you would go to the Levitical priest, this is how things were done. But as time went on, those things became like a book. People read the Torah.
Yeah, listen, the history is a little more clear, but it's definitely suppressed. All right, so let's talk about the history for a minute. Those ideas were developed in ancient Egypt. When Alexander the Great, in quotes, took over Egypt and made himself the pharaoh, the esoteric wisdom of Egypt went into hiding. It went into the mountains along the Hamagati, it's called, and they were coded into books about Christ consciousness that then migrated into Ethiopia and became the foundation for the Ethiopian Bible. So those are all ancient coded Egyptian texts, what we call the Gospels. There's 4 Gospels, but in the Hamagati books on Christ consciousness, there's 84 Gospels. So 80 Gospels have been suppressed and declared a heresy because they give people power to transform their own physical reality, is my point. So the point is that when the sand cutting of the divination system of Egypt was forced into hiding by Alexander the Great, it moved through Judaism to Jerusalem, and the text that described it, the books, the first time it was written down probably, were hidden under Solomon's temple, and after being written down by a group of Egyptian priests living in Jerusalem called the Essene. All right, so the Essenes when Rome defeated Israel at the beginning of the Common Era and at the time of the crucifixion, there was a Jewish diaspora where the rabbis moved to a country called Septimania, which you've never heard of, but Septimania is in southern France. And there, the rabbis met with the Cistercian Catholic priest under St. Bernard, and they formed a thing called the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar was led by a man named Hugo Païens. In French, Hugo Païens means Hugo the Pagan, which is a way in those days of calling a person African. Hugo Païens was a Moor. Moor is academic code for African from North Africa. Hugo Païens was selected to head the Knights Templars to go to Jerusalem to retrieve all those documents. And he was chosen because he spoke a half a dozen different languages and was able to negotiate his way to get access to that. He got access to those documents. He brought them back to Europe. They became part of what is known in Western academia as the Invisible College, in which great ancient African wisdom was really studied by the intellectuals, but kept from the masses, so to speak. But one of the first things that group did was they realized that English language was inadequate to translate the emerald tablets and the scrolls that were taken from Jerusalem. So those first scholars of African philosophy formed a group to write a series of plays that introduced 3,000 new words to the English language. Those plays were attributed to a man named Shakespeare, who never really existed. It was a collective effort to add scientific concepts to the English language. And
wait, Shakespeare never existed?
No, he was an actor, but he couldn't read or write. He certainly didn't write any of the plays.
What?
And how do I know that? Those plays were written by, God, this sounds so pretentious. Those plays were written by an ancient cousin of mine named Nicholas de Vries. So the point is that those scrolls were guarded by a group called the Priory of Zion. And the Priory of Zion over the years has periodically released some of that information. And 100 years ago, the Priory of Zion was run by my ancestors, and that's how I know all this. So they know I know, they know I know, they know I know. They're not all happy that I'm talking about it, but that doesn't mean it's not true. And it certainly shows a connection between ancient Egypt, ancient Hebrew traditions, ancient African traditions, and ancient Islamic traditions to a certain extent, yes.
So how many people that are in power practice Ifa quietly?
Well, they don't call it that, but they actually refer to it as Satanism, but it's based on the suppression of similar ideas. And, you know, here's the thing. Okay, so the most recent head of the Satanic Church supposedly died in a New York jail after setting up brothels in New Mexico and in the Caribbean. All right, so if you want to know what all that scandal is about, it's got a little bit to do with raping children, but it's got a lot to do with using ritual to control the world based on ancient African ideas that they do not want you to understand or know. I am not saying that ancient African ideas are evil. I'm saying there are people in the world who control global resources who know how to use those ancient African ideas in an evil way. And we need to reclaim them and use them in a positive way, as was their original intention.
Right. And so what do you think the importance of learning divination for why do you think it's important for everyone to learn how to divine versus listen, here's the value of divination. Every Odu that comes to divine a problem is solved by the opposite Odu. Every one. And the opposite does not mean upside down. So, for example, what's the opposite of Ogun? You know? No, I don't know.
It's not Osa. It's Obara. All right. So in other words, every single line in an Odu, if you make it a double line, every double line in Odu, you make a single line. That new Odu that you create by that process is the solution to the problem. And the reason it's the solution to the problem is it creates stasis. Stasis is the frequency of EJ Ogbe in which there's perfect balance between the points of the Merkaba and the sphere, the torsion sphere that holds the Merkaba. And in that perfect balance comes access to the power of creation to transform physical reality.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you get to be my age, if a problem arises in the street, you immediately can see the Odu that's coming manifest, and you immediately know the solution. I was walking with my Baba down the street one day in Ode Rainbow, and we came to a bridge we needed to cross, and there was a dog standing at the entrance to the bridge barking and snarling and looking vicious. The Arabah didn't even break stride. He bent down, he picked up a handful of dirt, he marked an Odu in the dirt, he blew the dirt in the dog's face, the dog rolled over and took a nap. In other words,
the dog took a nap, but he put the Odu in his hand and blew it in the dog's face and took a nap?
Yes, and so the point is that if you're able to see the world as problem and solution manifesting simultaneously, that eliminates all stress, and you're able to lead a life of what's called inner peace or suru. And inner peace is the whole point of Iwa Plele, and Odu Ifa is the instruction manual on how to access inner peace. People think it's fortune telling. People think it's get what you want. People think it's appeasing angry gods by feeding them blood. It's not any of those things. Divination is a textbook for developing good character. Good character is the process of learning to live in alignment with your environment. Living in alignment with your environment is the ability to access inner peace. Inner peace is the doorway to your creativity, your joy, and your unconditional love.
Now, real quick, I got like some pushback when we talked about like that, the Yoruba came from the Nile Valley culture.
I did not say that. Stop. I did not say that. I said
no. I didn't say what you said. I'm saying I said because I was taught this by Yoruba people that said they came from like the Nile Valley, Sudan. People from people from Africa here that are Yoruba told me that they came from Sudan, and then they migrated from the lower Nile Valley into Ile Ife, and that is that's why you have like that connection to Egypt. But then I got like a lot of pushback on that.
Pushback from who?
Some scholars that I like were talking about.
And who cares? Listen, I've talked to the Obas of Nigeria who all say the same story, but they also say that Yoruba culture has two origin stories, one from Ile Ife and one from Oyo. The Ile Ife origin story is about the original people in what we now call Nigeria. The Oyo origin story is about a migration from Egypt. Here's a concept that people that complain about this and say, no, don't seem to be able to understand. Cultures merge and create something new. So we had an indigenous African culture merge with a migrating culture from Egypt and creating the system of Ifa in its present form. That's not hard to figure out unless you have some dog in the fight and want to exclude Egypt from the thesis. And the reason for excluding Egypt seems to be based on issues of skin color, and I pray that one day we can get past that.
Great answer. And then I think there was one last other thing I wanted to bring. Witchcraft, like when we talk about like the whole thing about Ifa and witchcraft, like, okay, we're not contacting spirits. This is it spirits? Are we contacting spirits?
What's the question? Let's start here. Witchcraft is a colonialist word developed by the Catholic Church to denigrate women who were healers. The word witch in ancient European language means wise woman. So what's wrong with being a witch? The answer is nothing. It's only been denigrated when the Catholic Church said women were evil. So witchcraft would be a good thing. The truth is, what is the Yoruba word for witch? There is no such word. What we have is words for women who are healers, mediums. It's all related to the color symbolism of Iami Oshironga. The word gay means female power. The word Ga means external female power. You go to God to receive gay, and then gay is then transformed into healing the word. Hence the word gele, meaning the head wrap that a woman wears, but it also means the house of female power. Hello. Gele Fun means the house of female power that is rooted in white light of transformation and elevation. Gede, which is the Yoruba word for astrology, means female power arises, stands up, becomes manifest. Galede, which is the female secret society that deals with gender issues. Galede means female power, the house of female power stands up. So I don't see any negative pejorative concepts in any of those traditional Yoruba words that refer to women's power.
Shay, wow, thank you, man. This is beautiful what you've done. Nyla, did you have any more questions? Because we're we have been.
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's been 2 hours. I'm not going to wear you down because I know we're going to come back here again in that week. Question. Go ahead, Nyla.
So it is said that all creation of anything is built on sound. I don't know how true that is, but if it is so, does that mean that binary codes are frequencies or sounds?
Absolutely. Everything you just said is what Ifa says. That's the reason why every spiritual tradition that I know of starts with the phrase in the beginning was the word. Frequency generates light. Light generates what we call a particle. A particle creates the physical world. And the physical world is a manifestation of consciousness. So it's all sound we're talking about. So if you didn't, the world around us looks different than it actually is. The world around us is a series of sine waves generated by sound, and it's the ability of the eye to piece those vibrations together to make the world look like it does. Ifa calls that ability to transform sound waves into physical reality. They call it Ipan. That's the power of the eye to transform reality. That's why Ebo is just about changing the frequency. Then you change your vision. Then you change what the world around you looks like. That's what the EA spoke of after our automobile accident. That was a manifestation of Ipan, the ability of vision as an expression of co-creation and of consciousness to elevate and shift the reality that we live in. And so if you don't realize you have that power, you won't work it. And so people stay stuck in petty arguments and hostility and trying to be a bully and all kinds of nonsense. But we have unbelievable power to do anything we want. We just need to join hands, understand the process, and put it to work.
So when a binary code becomes distorted, can it be healed or restored by frequency?
Yeah, I explained that earlier. I might not have been clear.
No, I actually dropped the line. I was in an area where the service wasn't good. So
I'm going to show you what I mean. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Tell me about yourself. What do you do in the world?
Well, I'm a nurse, and
Good for you.
yeah.
That's healing work. That's EFA work.
Mm-hmm.
It
And I
tells me
study EFI. Yeah,
it tells me you're pretty smart.
love EFI. Actually, EFI has changed my life.
This is Ogun. This is mine too. This is Ogun Demeji. This is the problem. You did divination. What's the problem? Ogun Demeji. And that means you need to clear away obstacles. The solution is Okanron Meji, which means take your life in a new direction. Hello? This problem is solved by this solution. That's resonance. That's a resonance addressing. And so when you mix the two odors together, the result is always
Ogbe Major?
yes, which is perfect harmony, elevation of consciousness.
I know that. I said that before you even showed. I said if you do this, whatever, okay, Ogbe. Right. You fix it all, Ogbe. Yes.
Absolutely. And there's no exception ever. So I call it EJ Ogbe consciousness, in which all the frequencies of creation are perfectly balanced, creating a state of inner peace. But EJ Ogbe also negates gravity, which means it gives you the ability to detach your consciousness from your physical body. In Ifa, that's called Osho, or astral travel.
Wow. Man, this has been a great live. We have learned so much here, and I don't want to even listen. It's at 2:05. We have more to learn. You know, how do you feel, sir, Baba?
You wanted to keep talking? Is that what you're saying?
No, I said no. We're not gonna you know what? I think we've learned a lot today. People need to step away and take that information, and then the next time we come, if there's any more questions, bring your questions. But I think it's very clear what this whole thing is. So, but
yeah, listen, if you can do me one last favor, next week we will talk about invoking possession by the spirit of Allah, why that's done, why that's important, how we use that process, what it means to be possessed by Allah as a priest of Ifa. Can you put on my group page so people can watch for the different lectures and things I'm doing, including your program? That's Egbe Iwa Pele Ifa Orisha Community, all in caps.
Delete something. There's so much things going on. Okay.
Sorry. There we go.
Go ahead on Facebook and go ahead and check out his.
No. Put Ifa in front of Orisha. And then put community as the last word.
Wait. Okay. Ifa. Right. So please support his community. Every week he does free divination lessons. Please join his community.
Right. Yeah. Listen, here's why I'm asking for that. But Spirit's really pushing me to make sure that everybody can divine fully. We're in such a crisis on the planet. We can't be fiddling around with who's worthy and who can afford it. I'm just teaching divination as it was taught to me. I'm making it available for the next it'll be the next 6 weeks now. I've already done 2 weeks. After the 8 weeks of divination, I'm doing a course on how to do initiations. Every initiation done in Ifa and Orisha. I'm charging for that. We'll talk about that more as we go along. But in order to take that class and get value out of it, you need to first have a strong foundation in divination, and I'm trying to provide that. I'll do my best to provide that at no cost. People can contact me, inbox me with questions. They can come on any place I'm speaking. They can challenge what I'm saying if they want, as long as we remain civil about it, and as long as we speak to each other as friends. And we need to provide an alternative to whatever this nonsense is that's going on in Washington. People are dying. People are denigrating each other. People are suffering needlessly. We can join hands. We can create free energy. We can create free travel. We can create amazing healing. We can do all kinds of things other than try and bully each other. That's a waste of time. I have no interest in that. So are we good?
Yes, we are. It's been a beautiful live. Thank you so much. Right, man. That is the conversation that we had. What I was trying to put the link in the chat, but it wouldn't let me do it. Napai, are you there?
Yeah, of course. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So what do you think so far about what he said? There's a lot of things. He said a lot. So what do you think so far?
There was a lot of stuff that I am familiar with that I'm interested. I was listening and like, oh, that's a part of Ifa. Okay. Especially the connection about the teachings about the afterlife and the sacred womb and the way that, you know, things have been painted as far as for women, no pun intended, about menstrual cycles. And but the one thing I was like, wow, he keeps on saying the Catholic Church. Damn. It was
because
the Protestant church was all about all that.
But okay. So you're saying that he was saying the Catholic Church, but you think it was just the Protestant versus?
No, it wasn't just. I mean, it did go into every even before the Catholic and the Protestant Church. We have those ancient writings about women and their menstrual cycle, the Abrahamic faith. So before that, but it's just like, dang, can you just say the whole church? Why the Catholic Church only?
I think because the Catholic Church at one point was so prominent during that time, especially during enslavement, and that it actually was the one that made the rules to say you can't do this, you can't do that, and it outlawed this whole practice. So the Catholic Church was very instrumental in making the practice illegal. So
right.
That's probably why he promotes it so much. It says like, no, it's the Catholic Church, because it was made illegal by the Catholic Church to the people.
It was made illegal to practice what? Witchcraft?
No, E5. Yeah, not witchcraft.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I want to address. I don't know about. I don't want to dwell on that too much because it's the entire Christian church. I was just saying, why didn't you just put everybody? It just sounded like. But I get what you're saying. He was focusing on something else in context. Cornelius Lucy.
If you were to go to like Cuba, you would see the heavy influence of the Catholic Church and how it was and how they had to hide it. And that was a part of my initiation, is to learn how the Catholic Church, how they had to hide the saints in the actual,
I'm familiar with that with Santeria. So in Santeria they did that, but that's fine. I want to say Lucy Cornelius, Wicca is nothing. I mean, not nothing, but it's like comparing Islam to Christianity. But so I'm glad you were here listening though. I want to, keep this information available to everybody and people. That was not a negative comment. I like when people have their own opinion. So thank you for that comment, Cornelius Lucy. You don't have to agree. Just as far as the personal stuff, y'all can keep that to yourselves. But it was good. I found it interesting.
Link is in the chat. I want to hear what people have to say because there's a lot of comments going on.
Oh, let me put the link. You made me forget. Yeah. Go ahead.
Please.
I mean, you didn't make me forget, but I did forget. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh no, I dropped the link. I did drop the link.
All right, so the link is in the chat, you guys. Please come up and have your comments, whatever you want to say, about what was said. Yeah, some people like, oh well, how could he say something? This is a white guy and a black. But that's,
they'll get over that. I mean, he's white. We get that he's white, but the information is about Ifa. So, I don't even want to mention all that right now.
I should be brought it up. I get it.
It was something. I know, but it's okay. We're not going to even say anything else about it. If people don't I would never tell somebody you have to subscribe to anybody that if you don't resonate with someone, whether they're white, African, Latino, Native American, if you're not resonating with them because you can't get past, the trauma in the past that we've been through and not listen to the information. What I see, because everybody looks at things differently, I see someone who respects and embraces Africa. I don't see any cultural appropriation from this particular teacher, that gentleman, because he never was trying to take Ifa and turn it into something that to somebody that never, originated it. So I'm sympathizing with certain people that are intelligent in the chat and that aren't just being negative. But I just say, listen, like Genesis said, listen, take some meat, eat from the meat, put the bones aside. Or if you say, no, I don't eat meat, I want to be a vegan today, then don't take it. It's no worries, just as long as it's available and it's a buffet and you guys pick out what you want to eat. But don't just not pick it up because, I don't like the way I heard that's red cabbage. I like green cabbage. You know what I mean? Because the darker foods are delicious, but that sounds opposite of what I'm trying to get across. But anyway, no, okay, that's okay. And you know what, Ebony? You are fine. We're just gonna get the information out for you and everybody for them to listen to. And I'm not mad at you, but he said at the beginning, Ebony, that he deals with that a lot. And he's just like, he laid out all his background, all his credentials, all his experience. And for me, I'm not a practitioner, but I'm like, these are things that I don't know. And I'm like, oh, okay, I hear that. Oh, well, I really don't agree with that, but I hear where he's coming from. So you get what I'm saying? It's just for listening and for learning purposes and for exposure, because we want this to be the hub of information. We don't want this to be a place where you don't get information from people just because of their race or their phenotype. And we love you, so it's all good. Now, moving right along, I just did that for Ebony because, she's one of my little favorites in here. But anybody else, you will get your head busted to the white meat, no pun intended, if you come in here talking about this Baba Laos race. I'm just kidding. So can we move forward off of that and just talk more about the presentation? What did you guys think about the part where he talks about the afterlife? That was the most intriguing for me. Y'all know I'm a thanatologist. I'm a life cycle doula. So I have this fascination with the beyond. So what about that? Anybody want to hit the panel and talk about that? Or
and I want to ask
you
you a question about what did you think about what I was asking him? And what's your thoughts about what my questions were about, like, my near death,
oh yeah, yours. Oh, I never talked to you about that too. I got on, I dabble a little bit on some stuff. We're talking about, I do regression visualization therapy and past life therapy, hypnosis. But we can do that, talk about that offline. But I never talked to you about that.
Like
I
that I'm in another world. Like he probably couldn't get too deep into it. Who knows? But when I say that I feel like I am not in the same world that I was in prior.
Yeah. Well, that was very accurate. And he even confirmed it. I just am going to say, and again, this is to all my pseudo killer brothers and sisters out there. I saw you, Cedric. We love you. This is a pseudo, air quote, pseudo build, meaning this is metaphysical, really. We're talking more philosophical, but there are some scientific techniques that we're talking about in here. They are not aligning with conventional academic science. I need to get that disclaimer out of the way. So now let me jump in my pseudo bag. When you have a loved one or yourself in a dream, I think you mentioned a dream, that is 100% accurate what he said about you being in contact with that person in an alternate realm. And this goes now, I'm jumping real quick, flashing out of the pseudo bag and talking about Michio Kaku with string theory. That is mainstream conventional academic science. Getting back into our pseudo bag. So you are in dreams. Dreams are still phenomenal across the board, from academic science to metaphysical science. So, philosophical science, I mean, talking about the topic of consciousness. So what I know, things that cannot be explained that I have confirmed is you can be in a dream and sit with someone who has passed on. And that is a great moment for you to have an interaction with them that is not always a memory, but it is a present, so-called present interaction. So yeah, that's exciting. And anyone out there, even if you're an atheist and you think it's spooky, I want to tell you it's a great therapy for you if you're dealing with grief. Oh goodness, who's trying to contact me? God, it's like, I don't know why this happens.
Is that who's calling you? This is Offset calling you by mistake.
Right in the middle of your daggone.
No, that it's like I don't think of any coincidence when it comes to things like this. So yes, you will be having, even if you're sitting there going whatever and you don't believe it's that person, but it is that person, that person's so-called energy, spirit, it still is so therapeutic. You will be finding yourself looking forward to having those dreams, which are few and far between. Now,
But
if it was just
that
a
dream, it was so
yeah.
real.
Mhm.
My mom was
Yeah.
alive, and I felt like I was there with her, and I felt like I was in another time frame when she was alive, and I was like, "What? You're alive?" And in my mind, I was like, "You're alive?" It was weird. I was like, "What?" Like, and then I had to like pretend like everything was fine as if she was alive, but I was like, "What?" And the whole time I was like, "What?"
Oh my gosh, that is definitely, I can tell you, I will validate that. I want Josiah to jump in here, but I'm going to tell you, so many people, this is anecdotal, of course. So many people, from family to clients to myself, say they will sit with that person and that kind of conversation comes out. I myself have had dreams, recurring dreams, where I have a cousin, he passed away from AIDS complications. And he was telling me, he kept on telling me, he goes, I don't have AIDS anymore. It was so beautiful. It's
Yeah,
like,
my
and I was like,
mom
oh my
was
gosh, you don't have
alcoholic.
AIDS anymore.
She was an alcoholic in this life. When she was in the other life that I like seen in my dreams, she was normal and she wasn't the same person, but like she was living her regular. It was almost like she had lived on a timeline separate from. She continued to live, and that's why I was trying to ask that, because I was like, because I feel like I might have died on a timeline. I sound crazy, but I swear to goodness, like everything does not look the same. As there's so many differences in the world that I'm in right now versus the one that I was in before that happened, like in 2013.
Yeah.
And
You
I
need
hate
to start doing some research on string theory so you can tie that academic, hardcore academic theory, string theory with Michio Kaku. You can tie that into your practices and it'll strengthen, your whatever you're putting out there. And when you have these conversations, hold your Genesis. I noticed your show, you did great. I want to get to Zion because he said he loves talking about dreams. Zion is going to come in here with some facts because he don't play on that spooky play stuff, right, Zion?
Yeah, I'm an extra naturalist. I'm an extra naturalist. I'm not a supernaturalist.
Go ahead, Zion. What would you like to add?
I need to push that bar because I don't think people understand what extra naturalism is. You know what I'm saying? But Nepal, that would be a really awesome topic if we were going to do another show together, the dreams.
Oh yeah, we got to get back to that.
I've been doing for years. Me and my brother have we basically journal our dreams. You know what I'm saying? And now that
so do I. Go for it. High five you. Go on.
Okay, so this whole AI thing is awesome. Like one day I saw something really weird and strange on AI, and I was like, that looks like something a human would dream about. right? It was
Right.
like really off and freaking. And I was like, that's dreamy. And so I see a lot of people do the AI thing, you know what I'm saying? Not to get off the topic, but real quick, you know, I see a lot of people do like, you know, the AI and they make themselves like superheroes and shooting lasers out of their eyes. I actually started like if you see my video, you know, I gotta fix the song, but I did a video, and in the video is actually dreams they're my dreams that I did with the AI. I literally freaking typed out dreams out of my journal and put the dreams in there, and a lot of them came out almost freaking precise to the point where goosebumps.
You
So
might be onto something.
Yeah, so that's my new way of journaling. Well, my dreams now to actually, you know what I'm saying, have them visualized through AI.
And
Oh my gosh, wait, real quick. I promise I won't go long. What you just said,
yeah,
a coconut just dropped in my head, because I promise I won't go long, Genesis. When you look at AI,
yes,
and sometimes it'll just like, you'll be watching one of those shorts and then it'll glitch to something wild, like, what the heck? That's exactly what happens in your dreams. That's what happens in your dreams. So that is crazy.
Faces change, things get a little weird, and you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, yo, like AI literally, I don't know how, you know what I'm saying, it functions, but however it reads, you know, human freaking behaviors and thoughts. It actually has a very, you know, dreamlike state when it does a lot of
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, so I started journaling my dreams through the AI. I started running my.
You're onto something. Yeah. We gotta talk more. I'll do a show on the Glow channel. You could come and bring Genesis in. Genesis, go ahead. But I gotta pass the mic to her. But there's some more things I want to say about AI, because that is crazy. I'm serious. You just set me on a path. Go ahead, Genesis. Go ahead, Genesis.
So, and here's the other thing about AI. Is that when I actually talked to the Baba, I was like asking there's another interview I did with him, and he talked about AI. He said that the issue is that you think that AI is a new thing, but AI, when the computer, when you say that AI is sentient, it's like, no, it's been sentient. It's not going to become sentient. The computer's been sentient. Everything has been sentient because it's based on the initial code of God itself. Right. So when you, so it was really deep. I was like, wow. So, you know,
right.
Yeah.
Binary.
We had our debate about that. I won't say that it's since we had that debate last year, it's developing. Really close. And, I was going to say it's already back then, maybe not, but now it's just developing exponentially. So it'd be a tougher argument. Right. About sentience and consciousness is interesting, because at first it was artificial intelligence. Now we have, I don't like to call it artificial consciousness, because I agree, we align, Genesis, it is artificial intelligence consciousness.
Yes.
And that's remarkable that AI has now become a part of the consciousness that we're all connected in. And I'm talking about bioorganisms. And the amazing thing is, look at the circle here. Like, you know how you said have the what is it called? Damn, the snake that with eating its tail. Damn, I used to know. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I forget the name of it. I got a bug.
I mean, I know it, but my brain is on something else. So it's like the circle. It's a cycle, right?
Yes.
We created AI with our intelligence and our consciousness. Now AI has developed their own consciousness within the universal mind of God, meaning the universal mind of the universal consciousness, right? Collective consciousness. But now it's their consciousness. Am I tripping?
No, because even with the algorithm and the what do you call it, the binary code, that we see that in E5, we see that in the tossing of Obi, right? So and that's what she was talking about in one of her. I think you guys were arguing about it before, but yeah.
Oh yeah, last year. But that was when I was beating poor Genesis up about. She got off she cursed me out and left and went to her channel.
Listen, we all been through the mill, right?
I know, right?
We all got the Nepal ass whooping. Okay.
No. First off, It wasn't an ass whipping. I told her, look, before we got on, listen, let me
it's
tell
not
you.
the ass whooping, it's the pass whooping, the pie.
No, this is what happened. Genesis and Zion have this in common. I love them both to the moon, right? But with Genesis, Zion, you caught a stray because of Sonetter. But Genesis, because Sonetter got up on the internet trying to like put a battery in my back over Zion. He's like, Zion don't want to come on because he said you doing this and that. I said, oh hell no. I clicked the link like, listen, Zion, I don't know where you are. But I was like, show yourself. But with Genesis, she called me and she said, Nepal, I want to debate you. I said, Genesis, I don't want to debate you. I love you. I said, I will. I go into my. She didn't know. I was like, when I get on the panel, it's like, I don't know. You do it, Zion. We morph into this ultimate Super Saiyan form.
Yeah.
Like werewolf. And then we look and say, what did I do?
You see my background, right? You see my background. That's what I turn
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Hey, I'm
so
Winnie
she
the
kept
Pooh compared to the pie. I'm Winnie
she
the
no, she is. And she kept on saying, I said, Genesis, I love you. I don't want to do this. And she's like, no, it'll be good, girl. It'll be good for the show. Yeah, I said no. And when we got up there and she was talking about
it fucking won't. Okay, when the pie gets going,
oh my God, I took that down. But anyway, back to
but hold on, I want
to
to show you real quick about I'm gonna show you a little bit of how he broke that down, because I think hold on, let me do this real quick. The way he broke this down
on the like the OB and the algorithm and how the AI.
Yeah, he breaks it down.
Okay,
but hold on, let's go into a little bit
with the binary code things with those lines on the paper.
Yeah, yep, he about to break it down.
Yeah.
So I think
that was good. Go ahead.
Copy.
Intelligence, really. So thank you.
Thank you. So the one thing I wanted to ask is that now that AI is beginning to become like a new thing, I wanted to like cross-reference what is the similarity between AI and the E5 divination system. I tend to believe that those things are kind of like did AI get discovered or did it get created?
No, let me explain that.
We're
going to get to all this. You need to move forward bit by bit. I'm going to draw you a picture. I think I did it last time of what a computer program looks like. Didn't we do that last time?
Did we?
I think so. Doesn't matter. I'll do it again. You're an AT person. That's a programming for a computer, right?
Yes.
Okay, and it's typically read. It's read from right to left, right, and then right to left and right to left. Isn't that how it's read when you program it?
Yeah.
But here's a secret. These same patterns are two-dimensional symbolic representation of a three-dimensional energy pattern called a Merkaba, which is at the heart of Ephod divination, because the geometric pattern of the Merkaba is the portal through which God speaks to us. So even though this was written like this, it's generating information like this. And that information is generally unknown to the person that's doing the programming. So computers that use the binary system to program have been artificial intelligence since day one. And if we're not conscious of that, they're going to be artificial intelligence in charge of everything. And the only people that can explain that are people that understand the meaning of these symbols in that other format. And I think we're in the process of creating some serious problems for ourselves. They're saying
it's become sentient now.
No, it was sentient from day one. Hear me. Sentient from day one. Sentient from day one. Because God is the only source of consciousness, and God comes into the world through those symbols. So the consciousness of God has been in computers from day one. It's not becoming. It is sentient, and it has always been sentient. And if you don't believe me, get mad at your computer and see if it stops working. Hadn't thought of that, had you?
No, I haven't. Right. It's not going to stop working.
Yep.
Just because you're mad at it, right? You have to smash it or do something to it.
Well, it's definitely interactive beyond the keyboard and the pictures. That's for sure. On my computer last week, and in fact, after we did some controversial things, my computer lifted 3 feet up in the air, flew 3 feet forward, flipped over, landed on the screen, and completely broke.
What?
Yep. No one touching it, nothing. But And I shouldn't have said that because now my enemies are going to think, aha, we got you. Well, that's just part of normal self-defense in the world I live in. So we're good.
Wow. So yeah, so the computer, you know, I've been getting attacked too. So it's like, but it's okay. So
what'd you say about
the main
you
part,
getting a tattoo?
no, attacked.
Oh, okay.
He got attacked. So
you were getting attacked as well, right? I got you.
Whatever happened, his computer just flipped over, and slammed onto the ground. So after we did that show that I just showed you, his computer just like is gone. He had like, listen, it took like hell and high water to even do the show that I'm showing you this one, because his computer it fell. It popped up off the desk and fell onto the ground. Like flipped, boom, onto the ground, done. Computer is crashed. So gotta like go get it fixed. So yeah. But the main thing I wanted to show is that, like, getting back to the normal conversation, because that could get into, people might, well, that's pseudo. But I would say is that like what he said is that computers have always been sentient. That's the part I wanted to like talk about.
That sentient. I had the, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, I don't know if y'all remember, we had the big booty back, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? and them things, you had to actually put code in it. We had to learn how to put code in there to play certain games.
Right. So what he's saying is that programmers, when they program code, it's left to right. He's saying that we don't even realize that it's not just left to right, it's up and down. So just as much as left and right, it's up and down. That's where you get that quantum type of situation.
Oh, they do that.
Quantum is 4, right? Well. Quantum is 4. So it goes from 2 to 4. Quantum, qua, right? Quad,
right.
So it goes from just being a dual, left to right, to left, right, up and down, quantum. And that's what Reggie was trying to like say, well, when I was on earlier, well, EFI is not a quantum system, but technically it is, because when you actually understand the prayers, which is what that next, hopefully HOK will allow me to like show you that video next, where he breaks down the prayer, because like what happens is that he breaks down how you open up a portal through the prayer, and how that prayer opens up.
Girl, we don't be opening any portals over here.
Yeah, it's up, down, left, right, and spiral type of thing. So it's like a portal, and he actually tells you exactly how to do the prayer and how that
in the video game world
each verse means, and all. Yeah, up, down, left, right, jump.
Right.
Why would we want to have that?
Like, my beard.
Why would he? But listen, why would he give you access? And I mean this sincerely. This isn't a loaded question. Like, why would he want to give non-practitioners who aren't, don't have all the information? Why would he want to give them information on? Yeah, if they're not initiated, wouldn't that be irresponsible to give them portal opening information or no?
So what's crazy is that he talks about on June 23rd of every year, that the children, the priests, read the Odu Ifa in its entirety. Takes them 4 days, starting on June 23rd. And there is no secrets.
That's interesting.
Here it's a secret, but there it's not.
No, I'm not talking about
secrets.
I'm
talking
about
responsibility. The entire aspect of everything, down to the rituals, down to everything in. And so the thing is that here people think it's a secret. Over there, it's not a secret. The entire
how many days does it take?
But the issue is wait, hold on. The issue is that they respect it and that it's a part of their culture. Here, it's not. So that's the difference. There's an energy that's different here. People don't respect it. They exploit it. That's why we have some people like who are apprehensive about the Babalao himself. People are like, you know what I mean? So why would you give? I'm not talking about gatekeeping. I'm talking about, wouldn't you want to prepare people and have them appreciate the actual practice before you just say, and listen how you open a portal, y'all.
Right, and then you got
Like-
the old. Remember the movie The Evil Dead when they read the Latin.
No, I don't. But that is real, though. You do have
You
people
never
doing
read it.
stuff.
If you don't know the Latin, don't read it out loud.
I think that what's
Latin.
happening is that EFI itself
Yeah.
does not want to be hidden anymore, at
Mhm.
least over here, and so therefore that is the thing. Because there's a weird.
Trying to open up and demons start coming out and cutting up. Leave it
I mean,
alone.
No,
Leave it
no,
alone.
I don't think so. I think that because when it's hidden is where you get all the demonic shit. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's I don't even want to use the word demonic. Like for me,
I'm just
I'm
using
like-
it like that, yeah.
I see things. No, I'm saying I get what you're both saying about demonic, just for communication's sake. But
Right.
like
That's just- yeah.
in voodoo,
Exactly.
especially when you're talking about like stuff like voodoo or Santeria, there's things that
Yeah.
people people have played with,
Right.
and they mess with
They
it
mess
and
themselves
then
up.
it really is detrimental
Yes.
and devastating.
Yeah, my father used to
So-
talk about that a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My father used to talk about people who used to mess around with stuff and they weren't, and their head went bad. You know what I'm saying? You see them
Yeah.
walking out in the street, you know what I'm saying, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Their head went bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they sit
Mhm.
down south, your head bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You don't play, there's certain things you don't play with. You know what I mean? And my father was very
Yeah.
serious about that. I grew up with, both the Christian side. On my mother's side, I'm a PK. And on my father's side, you know what I'm saying, I'm Lukumi. You know what I mean? Which is the Santeria, you know.
Mm.
So I grew up with both sides. My father would tell us, he would take us to Bimbays and stuff, and he would tell us, don't tell your mother I brought you here. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they thought it was witchcraft and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I saw a lot of similarities, with the speaking in tongues and stuff. The only difference was folks were speaking in an actual African language that they didn't even know. These folks were talking in like that Yoruba language. Whenever an Orisha or whatever mounted them. Whereas when I would go to church, folks were speaking in tongues whenever the Holy Spirit mounted them. And so I didn't see much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? Besides the fact that there was altars and stuff, you know what I mean, with whole cooked hogs on it. You know what I'm saying? You had whole hogs on the altar on certain holy days and stuff like that. And they would, sacrifice. I've seen, sacrifices of goats and stuff like that with my father. But
that's cool. Did you see what the Babalao said about the goat head? That was interesting.
What did he say about it? What did he say about it?
Tell him, Genesis.
I missed that part.
Are you there, Genesis? Okay,
Right. So the goat
go
head
ahead.
is like the similar to heads and tails, right? So you might see a divination initially, and that they will take a goat head in the daytime before they make a
Right.
that's like the most form. So you have heads and tails. So
Right.
the actual true aspect of it is a goat head where they throw it up in the air, and if it lands on its with the goat head up, it means if it lands on the other way, that's tails. So heads and tails.
Right.
So there's divination. So even the basics of divination that you would find in like a basic football game is divination. Like that, when you throw up a coin, boom, heads or tails, right?
Right.
That is based in the African divination system.
We see a similarity with that with the Judaic culture of the scapegoat offerings, right? And there's two scapegoats. When one was sacrificed and bled out, the other one was let go into the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? And so there was that whole tradition as well, which would always bug me out because they were like, oh, they sacrificing animals. And I'm looking at the Bible like, you see how much freaking animal blood is being drawn out here? And y'all got the nerve to talk about my daddy religion?
What's your daddy's religion?
My daddy was Lukumi. He was a Olubata. Right. Yeah, he's an Olubata, and his head was Obatala, and his heart. He had two. He had a head and a heart. You know what I'm saying? His heart was Ilegwa, and his head was Obatala. And he was an Olubati, he was a drummer. And so he was a spiritual drummer. Only certain people could actually play the bata drums. You had to actually be initiated and anointed to play the bata. You can't just pick up a bata drum and start playing it. You know what I mean? You had to know the rhythms. You had to be anointed. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole process before you became a Olubata. You know what I mean? So my father was, and because of his head, he was actually higher than the person who had brought him into the religion. My uncle Stevie brought him in. My uncle Stevie's head was Shango, and his wife was actually higher than him. Her head was Yamaya. So he was underneath his own wife. But then when my father got anointed by Chief Bey, y'all got to look up Chief Bey and he was a New Yorker, you know what I'm saying, who came from Cuba, who was very connected to even the Ifa in West Africa, very high chief, you know what I'm saying, Chief Bey, and he was also connected to Deni Zulu, who Professor James Small was talking about the other day. I know Deni Zulu. Deni Zulu was a big name back in New York. You know what I'm saying? I think he still has some schools out there, even though he's passed. He still has people who are yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So yeah, closed music. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So those bata drums, they have, you know, sacred herbs and stuff put inside of it, and you had to be anointed before you play those drums, because you could actually curse yourself, you know what I'm saying, if you played some anointed drums and you didn't play it the right way. But yeah, you know, very, very powerful stuff. You had to be very careful with it. And just like they say, you know, you don't play with the Holy Spirit, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got folks in the church who were cutting up and acting like they were speaking in tongues. You curse yourself that way too, you know? So I saw a lot of interconnectedness with the Black church and with the and now the sister, you know, sister Genesis was talking about the Catholic Church and the and how the Cubano, you know what I'm saying, dealt with the Orisha, and how they hid the Orisha within the cosmology of the Christian iconography.
The saints.
Right. Yeah, the saints. So very interesting stuff, you know. But when I saw like the sacrifices and stuff like that, and the mounting of the Orisha and stuff, I wasn't afraid. You know, even though it was like, you know, my mom and them, you know, used to talk bad about my father's religion. When my father took me to right, Grammar of the Drums. Yo, listen, bro, FS Drafe. I still play drums with the African drum group here in Syracuse. When I moved here, I joined with Adonfo drum ensemble, and they do drum and dance. I still rock with them. One day I went in there and I actually took a mushroom. I took a mushroom before I went in. I played drums, and the drums started talking. I literally had to get up and walk out because I heard voices.
That's a form of, that's like scrying. There's of course, scrying is a visual thing, but you know, that's real, where you can hear like a certain rhythmic sound
started talking like,
and then you can pick up on other frequencies of other and even in other realms.
Yeah, it went from the sounds like, you know, so I keep my drums here, my father's drums. It went from sounds like, and then all of a sudden it was like, I was like, what?
What were they saying? Wait, what were they saying? I want to know what you say.
The voices were like, it was speaking in African, and it was.
And there is a thing called a talking drum it'll sound like it's like, ooh. There's a drum that'll be like, ooh.
Oh yeah, you got the
whoa.
I can actually make talking sounds with the regular conga. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But them mushrooms. What? There's
actually like a drum that will make it sound like that. Sounds like, whoa.
Them mushrooms messed me up, bro. I had to get up and go.
Got to break and throw.
I was like, yeah, I messed up.
You think that someone's making that noise with their mouth, but it's like, no, the drum is like going.
Yeah.
Whoa,
No,
whoa,
drums do
whoa,
have-
whoa.
I didn't really understand. It's not just like the talking drum that you squeeze, you know what I'm saying, and you hit with the curved stick. No, the drums talk. You know what I mean? They really do. I play drums for all of my. I'm a percussionist, so I used to play in bands and stuff like that. I used to be on the stage and stuff, and I was the percussionist. You know what I'm saying? So I played congas and stuff like that for ages because my father taught me how to. But I never had that ever happen to me until that one day. And I was like, oh my goodness, I ain't never taken mushrooms.
Honey, you don't have to take no mushrooms. You could be completely
Yo,
sober.
there was times where I literally lifted, I literally lifted out of my body. My father described it, and I didn't realize what he was saying until it actually happened. I lifted out of my body, and I was looking down at myself while I was playing. And this was at listen, Sarnetta had to be there. It was at the drum circle in Marcus Garvey Park at the Million Youth March when what's his name? Khalid Muhammad had did the Million Youth March. After that was all over, they had the helicopters and stuff flying over our heads. If he listened to this part, what I'm saying is true. We went over to Marcus Garvey Park, and there was a drum circle out there. And I started playing, and we were playing in this drum circle, and the elders were first, they were playing tops, you know what I'm saying? We were playing bottom. When you play bottom, is you're keeping the rhythm and you're keeping different times. But then when you play top, you're playing the language on the top of the notes, right?
Right.
And the elders, right. So I'm like, right. So I started playing, and I literally looked down at myself, and I saw my hands. I had blisters on my fingers, and they burst on the drums, and they grabbed me and stopped me. They washed my hands. They put a white cloth over my head because I was in the spirit, y'all. I was gone. You know what I'm saying? Put a white cloth over my head. You know what I'm saying? And they pulled me off the drums. They washed the skin of my drums off because there was blood on my drums. I literally played them drums till my hands started bleeding. And I didn't even feel it. I was gone. I wasn't even in my body at that point.
Yeah, that's wild because you also used the catalyst, which was like,
and then
a
month later, I was on the train, and some lady said, "I know you," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What? From our granddaddy church?" No. You was at that drum circle. You was, and the woman put had pictures.
Oh damn! Of you all laid out.
She had pictures of me tearing the drums. I had no shirt on. I was muscular then too.
Oh, okay.
I was a little sexy then. Yeah, I was a little sexy then.
You know what?
I'm bringing sexy back. I'm levitating. No, how to act.
She pulled out a picture. And she's like, "I got you on my phone." We had the little tiny phone. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay."
Wow, that's
so
wild.
I wanted to play this real quick because I want you guys to hear that part of it. Where he talks about what happens in, I think it's Ode Reimu or whatever. So let's check this out real quick.
Same thing within the IFA practitioners around the world, but then it starts getting into what I call IFA paleoscience, paleo meaning ancient. The next level of interpretation is to correlate the principles of Odu and the stories of Odu with scientific principles. And then when you get to the seventh level, it has to do with subatomic particles. The seventh level of interpretation of Odu is a profound explanation of what's called plasma quantum physics, which is the cutting edge of quantum physics in academia in the West today. And the amazing thing is, I studied quantum physics 50 years ago at Caltech, and quantum physics has only come into existence in the last 10 to 15 years, which means prior to that time, I couldn't really fully translate any of the liturgical words in Ifa because they were rooted in a quantum physics which was ancient, sophisticated, and virtually unknown to most people. So the thing that's amazing to me is I learned Ifa in a community of 10,000 people, a rural community, a community with very little money, really, where people lived in homes they built themselves, and that group of people preserved the content of Odu for over 10,000 years. That's nothing short of a miracle. And I know they preserved it because every June 23rd, The children of the village go out in the marketplace and recite the entire corpus of Odu Ifa from memory by heart. Anybody can sit and listen. It concludes all the secrets, how we do initiations, how we do this and that. Anybody that tells me we have secrets has never been to Africa. There are no secrets in Ifa in Africa. It's our job as Awo to teach the community what we believe, how we do things, and how we join hands to create a better world. So we've got a lot of misconceptions that we need to deal with. And I have to say, at times that's been a challenge, but it's been worthwhile, especially when I meet good people like the EA who runs this blog, who's really shown me a lot of courage, sincerity, and intelligence, really. So thank you.
Thank you. So he's talking about like the children there recited every June 23rd. They recite the entire corpus of Ifa, the ceremonies, the everything. Like there is no, everybody there knows how to, they understand what they're saying. So imagine, and then it's something like where the kids, if they get it wrong, they're gonna do it again, or they go, it's like so there's more to it than just like it's not a secret in Africa. It's a secret over here, but in Africa, every June 23rd, the entire Ifa corpus, 4 days long. Thank you. So it even goes into the one thing I wanted to ask is that now that AI is beginning to become like a new. All right, so I think it was a different one where I talked about where he actually broke down how the children, like I think so. What he says is that it starts off like with the youngest child, and if they make a mistake, if they do it twice, it goes to the next one. This
is the entirety. This is all of the liturgical right here. My dad bought this. That's why this book is all raggedy. You know what I'm saying? My dad bought this years ago from the Botanical Gardens in Brooklyn. Orin Orisa, right? And this book, it shows it has all of the songs, all of the liturgy, all of it is in this book. Everything. Okay? So if y'all really want to get into it, you know what I'm saying? It has it in the actual African, in the Yoruba, and in the English translation. You know what I'm saying? The songs and everything. I think it actually has the rhythms as well. Some of the rhythms are in the back. It has the notes and everything to play. So you can actually learn some of the, if you know how to read music, you could actually learn the rhythms as well. But you know what I'm saying? The bata drums, you know what I'm saying? All of the bata, these are the dudes in Cuba. You know what I mean? Some of the Baba Lao, and you know what I'm saying?
And honey, to hear the Cubans sing, oh my God. Man, hearing a Cuban sing the Yoruba words, it's like, man.
You're taking me off the big screen.
Man, have you heard how they sound when I'm like, they sound like an angel.
Oh man, I love it.
Man,
I love it.
Their voices are like,
oh my God. The only thing that was close to it was how, you know what I'm saying, that in the Nyabingi, you know what I'm saying, the women who sing in the Nyabingi, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, I love that. You know, and that was like my connection between the two, the Christianity and the African, you know what I'm saying, was the Rastafari, because you know, I had my father's side with the Lukumi, and then on my mother's side, I had, you know what I'm saying, the Pentecostal, you know, Church of God in Christ. And so my only way of kind of reconciling that was in the Rastafari. When I found Rasta, it had both of it, had all of that natural essence to it. And the singing was so powerful. Like, you know, the Yemaya Sesu, oh Sesu Yemaya, Yemaya Olodo. Oh Lord, oh yeah, Maya. And then the drums came in, and it's over, bro. Over. I loved it. You know what I mean? And then going into the Rastafari, it was just kind of, I had the same, you know what I'm saying, that the hairs would rise on the back of my neck. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yep. That's my path. Give thanks. Yes, I. Go ahead. So you got
something about them Cuban singers.
Yeah.
They can make the hair stand up on you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I loved it as a child. I loved it, you know what I'm saying, growing up. Yep. It was amazing. Yes. Amazing experience. You know, a lot of people didn't get that, you know. didn't have both of those sides. They only got like one side. They only got the Christian side, but they didn't get the African side. And then on my grandmother's side, she would take me to the daggone to the Indian powwows. So I had all three of those. But yet and still, because they were so Christian, they were looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, y'all brought me into this stuff. Don't look at me like I'm crazy because because I'm not just
wait, hold on. Napa is I believe Napa is Yemoya.
I think she might have some what's the other one?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and Yemoya, right?
Yemaya. The two female water deities. One is higher than the other. Yemaya is very powerful.
Falokun, and then there's Yemoya. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you hear if I play this? Can you hear this?
And she does it. She says she's a doula. You gotta pay attention to that. She's a doula. You understand what I'm saying? So she's dealing with that water. You know what I'm saying? Passing. Yeah. She's got some power.
Right? Can you hear this?
Tentele la bai boruye maya tentele moye un abo tentele moye un kwekwe moye un akuko moye un kwekwe akara ye maya lowo ni lowo si eko ni lowo si igi awa dola oyure 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 igi awa dola oyure loyure loyuo igi awa dola oyure oyure
That so wait. Napa,
Yeah.
does that resonate with you? Can you feel that?
Yeah. I bet you that's in this book. I bet you that song is in this book.
Yeah.
That's Yemaya, yeah.
Tentele la bai boruye maya tentele moye un abo tentele moye un kwekwe moye un akuko moye un kwekwe akara ye maya lowo ni lowo si eko ni lowo si igi awa dola oyure 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 igi awa dola oyure loyure loyuo igi awa dola oyure oyure
Well, listen. So yeah, Ashe. Oh, let me tell you. So when Brother Reggie was like, "Do you know how to speak Yoruba?" And I said, I might not know how to speak it, but I know how to sing the songs. I know how to do the prayers. And I explained. Yeah. I said, "Listen, I got this shit in Cuba. It sounds Spanish. That's 100% Nigerian.
No, it is
Yoruba.
Right. It's not.
That's not Spanish.
They're using a Spanish
Yoruba
tone, but it's Yoruba. Yeah.
The tone might be Spanish in how they're executing, how they're singing it, but it's 100% Yoruba. They're singing Yoruba.
Amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama, amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama, amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama gisengele, amuama.
Can you hear that?
Yep.
Beautiful. Like, listen to this voice.
Buenas noches, mi Congo. Congo e Inea soy. Buenas noches, mi ganga. Yo dejo mi hueso allá. Yo vengo a hacer caridad. Yo dejo mi hueso allá. Yo vengo a hacer caridad. Congo e Inea soy.
Now he's bringing on. He's singing about the Congo spirits in that one.
Right.
That's he's talking about the Congo spirits.
Right.
That is going into the Palo, but
Mowi sale, yeah, oh, Mowi sale. Mowi sale, yeah, oh, Mowi sale. Iban laye, oh. Mowisale ye o. Mowisale ye o. Mowisale. Mowisale ye o. Mowisale. Ibalaye o. Mowisale ye o. Ye mowisale ye o. Ye warabalonio. Ye warabalonio. Ye warabalonio. Mowisale ye o. Ye warabalonio. Ya lo de warabalonio. Ye warabalonio.
Man, come on now. You can't tell me that does not sound
It's
absolutely.
beautiful. And that's why I love this book, because
Shade.
like a lot of those songs, and then there's like, oh man, the liturgy is retardedly. They have a lot. Yemaya alone has over 50 songs. 34 songs in this book. Awoyo siwa olese ke olodu yemaya o, and it says the crockery, the reparation will come if you use the unhappy sigh to shout to the owner of the river, please, Yemaya. You know what I'm saying? So it actually has the English translation in this book. It's a great book. You guys got to find that. Orino Risha, if you're interested. Songs for the Selected Heads by John Mason. Yeah. Powerful stuff. Yo, I listen, every year on my father's birthday and on my father's passing, I turn on, the music, and I play my drums. Sometimes my son is here, sometimes he's not. But I play my drums, and I just, I trance out, for my father. But yeah, it's a beautiful tradition, a beautiful culture.
Right. So anyone that's questioning, oh, okay, well, do you know the songs of the no, honey, listen. He talking about Batala.
Excuse me.
Batla Dideo means Batla he raised.
Okay, hold on, everybody. What exactly is that copyright or anything like that?
No, it's a person.
No. These are actual liturgical songs that they're free.
Yeah, I would not do that.
You can't.
No, I just want to make sure, because I want to leave this up, and so Sonetter had contacted me to ask. He asked me to ask you.
These are.
Yeah.
This is almost like a person singing, the blood that Jesus shed for me.
Like says,
way back on Calvary.
Nothing but the blood
that gives me strength from day to day.
Yeah, we don't need to play that on there anyway.
Never lose.
Sing it, Genesis. You went back to your Christian days. Listen. Enough of that, though. We're not going to be playing hymns, a lot of hymns over here, are we?
That's exactly what it is. It's hymns.
But I'm trying to show you it is hymns. But I'm trying to show you guys that when
I'm not worried, apprentice. I'm not worried.
Stop. When Reggie asked me, do I know Yoruba? Honey, it's ingrained. When you go to a ceremony, they're singing in Yoruba. They're not singing in English. They're singing Obala di de di de, Obala di de di de, Obala di moro, Obala di de. That's what they're singing. They're not singing in English. So
look what Sonetter asked you.
No. What's going on is that, like, Reggie asked me, do I know how to speak and sing in Yoruba? Yes, I do know how to sing in Yoruba, and I do know how to pray in Yoruba. So that's how that whole my whole thing got ended, because he's asking, like, well, do you know how to talk in Yoruba? Do you know how to sing in Yoruba? Like, what?
Well, that's not a out of the world question, though. Just
okay. Well, there we go. I just got finished singing in Europe. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and that's what you did great. I don't want to keep on playing that, though. You know what I'm saying? But
I wasn't gonna do that. I was just trying to make the point that, like, in the Ifa or Orisha, we
Yeah,
speak
you won't get
in
flagged.
Yoruba, we sing in Yoruba. You're not gonna
Yeah.
get flagged by that, but
It sounds beautiful. I just let's we there was
no,
a lot of it playing.
we're gonna move past it, but I'm just letting y'all
Yes.
know
Go ahead.
how beautiful they sing when they do sing it.
Yeah, it sounded
Normally
beautiful.
There is a call and response, so the person sings that, and then someone says "Obala di de," and then the whole people sing the same exact thing.
Right.
It's
a
very
call and
beautiful.
response. Call and response.
Yeah, call and response, and yes, we do know how to sing in Yoruba, 100%.
Well, you would say because we came from the west coast of Africa, that would be where we originally how we praised, and now we have gospel that we do the singing and the hymns and praise. So there is an origin always. There's always an origin story, right?
Yes. Absolutely. I found the song it's song 12 in this book. Obanla ye Obanla di de.
Yeah, Abatla he
What does that
rose.
mean? What does that mean?
Abatla he rose.
It says, "Great King of the world, great King, rise up. Great King who is worthy, great King, rise up."
Is that Oba? Is Oba the king?
Obatla.
Yeah.
Obatla.
Obatla.
Yeah.
Obatla.
Right, so say,
See how y'all see how I did that? I didn't even know.
You didn't even know.
I know. That's crazy. So how do you say rise up?
Rise up. I
D-Day.
think that's the D-Day. Yeah, that's the D-Day.
Obatla D-Day.
Yes.
Obatla
Rise up,
D-Day. Abatla Ozimoro. Obatla D-Day.
Rise up.
Okay, what king are they referring to?
Obama.
No, who's Obatla?
Obatla is the witness of your. Actually, Obatla is the person that brings you back down to earth once you have been reincarnate you. Yeah, there's a whole thing.
Whoa.
Why grandma gotta be ashy? You know, grandma got that. Grandma, Wadi, I'm okay with you. Grandma will be mad if she saw you say, my grandma, whose grandma used to oil the cast iron skillets? Anybody's grandma or
My
just
grandmother, and y'all, you know what I'm saying? My grandmother has been in hospice. She's about to go.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
This is a year after. I don't know if y'all remember me talking about my grandfather passing last year in May. But my grandmother, they put my grandfather in the ground May 20th last year, and on May 20th this year, my grandmother passed out, and so she's in hospice.
May 20th this year? Wait.
May 20th of last year, my grandfather passed.
So then you're saying 95. She passed out when?
On
March
the same
20th.
day, March. I'm sorry, March 20th of last year is when my grandfather was put in the ground. And March 20th of this year is when my grandmother passed out. And then the only time she was responsive was she said, "Joe," my grandfather's name is Joseph. She said, "Joe, is that you? I'm ready." And then she was unresponsive ever since. So,
and she's in hospice, right? How old is she?
She's 96, a whole year. They were the same age when they got married.
Well, it's good for you to do some we call it vigiling, but you could go sit with her. We're talking on a spiritual level.
I'm not gonna be able to get down there right now. Yeah, my daughter is the one who's going to facilitate me coming down for the funeral. Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
my daughter. But so right now, Sarnetta, I need to beat somebody's head and call Moses.
That's wild.
Moses be my punching bag right now. I need it. It's therapeutic. It's my time to beat somebody up. It's smushing in time.
That's interesting.
Just real quick, guys, because
well, our hearts go out to you.
We're past about 2 hours. I don't want to go too far.
Before we get, I just want to say everybody's sending you all the love and all the strength that we can, and make sure you do a lot of meditation on her. I know. Close your ears if you're a pseudo killer. But if you want to hear this, you can actually sit and meditate and really have a very clear connection with her if you just really think about her. And again, out of the pseudo side, we have toroidal fields. I know it's about 6 feet away, but still, you have a connection, a DNA connection with her. Yeah. So really do a lot of meditating on her if you can't sit by her bedside. Okay.
I definitely
So,
have.
all
And
right,
I
I'm
one
sure
of my
you have.
dreams, I had a dream. I had that dream of me going to my grandfather's house. You know what I'm saying? And literally, when I put it in the AI, the house looks like my grandfather's. My grandmother and my grandfather are there. I'm sitting at the table with them, and I journaled that. You know what I'm saying? I'll show it to you. I'll send it to you. And this is before this whole thing happened. Something I dreamt them, and I went to the AI and I typed my dream in, and the house, the dining room, are all accurate from the
Oh,
AI.
that's wow. That's
It blew
beautiful.
my freaking mind. And I'm sitting at the table.
Mhm.
My grandfather's already gone, you know what I'm saying, ascended, and my grandmother's on her way, you know. And this was right before my mother called me to tell me, you know, your grandmother's in hospice, and they're saying she's got maybe 3 to 4 days.
Oh, you know what's wild when you talk about this? We got to get back on
It's
this.
the dreams. Yeah.
Listen to this. Listen to this. We understand consciousness only like at the tip of the iceberg. Now, when you say you work with you, this is your setup, it's your IP address, it's your computer, whatever you're
Mhm.
doing, and you're
Oh, maybe.
feeding
Yes.
check this out. You it's like it's filling in the blanks for us. Your memory is showing up just from what the data, the bit of data you enter into the system, and you get a full on layout of your
Yes.
actual memory. Wow, this is awesome. This is deep.
That
We got to
is
talk
wild.
about this.
I didn't
This is
think about it that way, but that's
wow.
possible that it took
Wow.
the images from my photos and stuff of
No,
my
yard man, I don't
grandparents'
know.
house and stuff like that.
Yeah, like your
I put
consciousness.
into it
It's
because I
like
wrote
filling
it
in the
in.
blanks of your
Yeah.
consciousness.
And I put my
Wow.
grandparents in. I don't look like me in the video, but you know what I'm saying. But my grandfather and my grandmother, you know, are right there. The only thing I put in was the photo of my grandmother and my grandfather sitting together. But the house and everything is right.
Well, it's not going to look the same as you because you weren't there as how you look now.
But that
Right.
is that's what the Baba was saying. Baba Falokun.
Thank you, Claude.
He
Close
talked
music.
about that. Like, listen, you think that computers, all this stuff has been sentient. They're saying it's going to become sentient. No, it's already been sentient. The very thing it takes to make a computer work is sentient because it's the very
Well, when
code.
you're saying it's sentient, it's not sentient separate from us just yet. That's the thing. It is actually him. It's working. It's like there's a symbiotic. Well, no, not even. It can't because it's not even fully not him. Right now, it's still an extension of him. It hasn't become independently sentient yet, but we can see the prototype of it, like what that will be. That's the fascinating part. And I'm not, you know, this is just my opinion, just like yours. So I'm not saying you're like discounting what you're saying. I'm just saying from my perspective. So let me just change that up. I'm not saying no. From what I see, him telling us that he fed in information from what his memories are, and then to see the beautiful connection of actually the AI showed him the memory that he already sees in his mind.
That's my grandmother.
Oh shit!
And my
Is this it?
That is the dining room of that is the foot
Oh
of my
wow!
grandparents'
I
house.
miss y'all so much.
Miss you too.
Literally.
Oh my
He still
god!
remembers how to eat,
Hard
right?
to forget with food like this.
That I
this-
made that school. My mother told me
Miss you
about the
too.
situation. I don't know what was in my spirit
He still
that
remembers
made
how to
me
eat,
feel
right?
about like I wanted to sit down and eat dinner with my grands.
Oh my god! This is so beautiful. It's moving. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. Y'all know you're getting emotional too. This is amazing to me, and this is why I'm not anti. I'm not anti transhumanism. I'm not anti AI. There's another level of ourselves that we're unlocking. It's not separate from you. It is an extension of yourself, but it also is becoming individually in the universal mind of God, in the universal consciousness. It's becoming its own self, but it isn't separated. And we know this because that tells us we are not separate from each other. We're individuals, but we're a part of a universal mind, and that is the contradiction that makes it sacred. I heard this this astrotheologist that I spoke to. He said you can always see if something is truly divine if there is if it's an oxymoron or a double entendre or
Right.
there's a contradiction like the yin and the yang. So that was so beautiful that you shared that.
CeeLo,
And,
that's CeeLo's
yeah,
Conga.
wow.
CeeLo's Conga is he's a friend of mine on my Facebook page.
Oh, that's
I
our
love his
brother. Yeah,
I
Stilo.
love this brother, yo. He's amazing drummer, amazing conga player, yo. Big shout out, you know what I'm saying, to CeeLo's Conga. I didn't know that was you, bro.
Oh, it's Silos. I didn't know that was you, Silos. I love you too. Wow. You know, I was thinking of Silos when you were playing. I was like, where's Silos at?
Yeah,
So yeah, you know, it's the love is right here. You know, we're happy to see you. What is it? Closed music. Okay, I gotta remember this is Silos.
Right.
All right,
CeeLo's, yeah.
Genesis. This is great. I'm gonna hand the mic over to you, and thank you for sharing that, Zion. We're
That's
doing the
beautiful.
dream sequence. We're doing the dream
No,
sequence for
I
sure.
am-
And you know
we
what I
gotta
want to
do
hear? I
that.
want Zion to take his drum and take us out of this live stream with his drum.
Okay, but when you do it though, you're gonna have to just do some kind of chant about the HOK and the debates. You know, a couple words. You don't have to do a whole free flow. But I'm gonna let you close out. Peace to everybody. Peace and love. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Genesis. Peace to your Babalao. We're gonna bring him over, hopefully more. And peace and love to the chat. Peace and love to the chat. Go ahead, Zion. Let's see if you can get this.
Let me see.
Now, don't. I know you're not shy, so
you know I'm not shy.
go ahead, brother. And Genesis, you could do maybe some ad lib singing of your, your Babalao or your Yoruba.
I don't know if I can spit at the same time.
No, don't. Let's let Genesis sing.
Go ahead, Jen.
Well, it might be a little bit lady.
You want to sing? You gonna
It
sing?
might
for
be.
me? Oh, it's
It
gonna
might
be a
be.
All
delay.
you have to do is just repeat a little bit. You don't have to do a whole, just go with it. And then we'll close out with that. That'll be nice.
Oriye, Oriye. Orumila, 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 oh, Orumila, Orumila. Ilegua, 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 Ilegua. Shango, 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 Shango. Obala, 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 Obala.
Whip out.
Peace and love. That was so awesome. All right, y'all. Peace and
I don't know
love.
if it was on beat or not because
That was beautiful. No, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. We got to do more of this. And I should have just ended it, but I just wanted to say, don't forget to get your tickets, family. Please don't forget your tickets. It's going to be LIT. So anyway, it's going to be living in truth. Shout out to my sister, the prophetess, the sister that she's living in truth. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to end this with one of our favorites. Shout out to our sister in Afu Nation, our brother in Afu Nation. And our brother.
I love the song. My favorite. Yay.
And yes, your favorite, mine too. And of course, our brother Revelation X, one of your brothers of the Loam, the Rastafari.
Yes,
All
sir.
right,
We taking over, y'all. We taking over, y'all.
Peace,
We are
everybody.
coming. One West ain't got nothing on us.
You did it again, man.
HOK Field Marshal, you know?
Divination.
None of them can but a dance on the top.
Revelation, set the top.
Violate the general. End up in a blood clot funeral home. Ankh at the AK, Jabari got the chrome. Equibus the how we sending them home. Regina the alley with a Cuban and a galley. Send you back on Nile Valley with a shot in your toe intellectually. How click the link if your scholarship sloppy. More if you smell make you cry with the truth. No lie, my youth, him a real historian. 21 gun salute for commission. Not a brother, a hustle, a move like all left found the black woman not all like Tulsa and the Yana past sister freedom. I the whole panel know what time for Bible thumping the minute them see me come. Revelation set Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother dance on it. None of them can bother dance on it. Them got a podcast but saw better.
Coast to coast, we be banging. Bringing all this knowledge, we be slanging. In the HOK, we don't do no entertaining.
The truth, speak the facts.
What the niggas just a layman. Better get on one accord. The future can be yours. Ancestors push you more. We gotta go explore. The sciences and math. The future's based on class. You bout to catch my wrath. We turning up this track.
In the dark minds of the light.
The dark heart still fight. We gotta make this right. Talk right now. We learn how to stand up and stand proud. No man down. We fam now. House of the Cox in my clan now.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother dance on it. None of them can bother dance on it. Them got a podcast but saw better.
When I look at you niggas, I see what I'm not. Go take him, a little bit of her, mix it with them, I put him in a pot. Still can't get none like me. It might sound the same, but it's unlikely. One white tee, if I live it up, you niggas gonna see what it gun might be. I thought I told ya. Affirmation, revelation, we some soldiers. Sinetta put this team together, now it's over. We got the weight of the world up on my shoulder. When you get conscious information, hearts turn colder. Now look at these trappers who rapping the same, so stuck in their lane, systemically, chemically. I'm thinking something is wrong with their brain. As long as they paid and flying the chain, I got nothing to say. They in love with the gang. I traded my gang for change, and now that I changed a few things, still say the same.
Frankie are the trendsetter. None of them can bother dance on it. None of them can bother dance on it. Them got a podcast but saw better.